the driver number 77 Mobile One Dodge, Sam Hornish. This is Sam's career best, first time starting up on the front row, besting his previous best start, which was last week in Phoenix in the third position. So, Sam, tell us about your run.
The run was pretty good. With the chances of rain for tomorrow, we spent most of the first session in race trim trying to make sure that we had a good race car in case we didn't get any practice in tomorrow. So we only got a couple qualifying runs. In our last one, we came out and I don't know, it was like a free-for-all. Everybody went at the same time, so we didn't get a very clean opening, and we were pretty tight. So we just freed it back up a little bit to where we'd been the run before that, and we knew that the track was going to gain a little bit of grip as it cooled off. So it was just right where we needed it to be. The car was right on the free side. I held my breath pretty much the whole time, and I was glad that I didn't have to talk to anybody right away because I knew that it was going to be a good lap, but I didn't think that it was going to be second fast. I thought it was definitely a top five run, but not second. So I was happy with that.
We'll open it up to questions from media. Again, as courtesy, state your name and affiliation. Questions for Sam. We'll go to Lee and then Kenny.
Lee Spencer, Fox Sports. We've seen you a couple times in the media center lately. I mean, how's your year just kind of turned around? I mean, Texas has been a good place for you in the IndyCar series, and you guys said last week not a lot of that translate, but here you are again.
Yeah, I mean, not a lot of it translates, but because I think if you really look at how we ran, our results really don't match what we've been able to do so far this year. We started 38th at Atlanta and worked our way all the way up into the top five with 50 laps to go, and we had a valve spring break, and then Bristol, we get in the top 10 with about 40 laps to go, and we had a coil go bad. So I mean, we just in Daytona was its own thing. Lap 7, our teammate blows out a tire, and we're right in the middle of that. So we've just we've had some problems with just being in the wrong place at the wrong time. But so has kind of been my luck for a little while. But we're trying to turn it around. We've just kept our heads up, kept doing what we knew that we needed to do. The good thing is at least it was having bad luck. It wasn't just running bad. So we know that we can do it. We're capable of doing it. Martinsville, we think we would have probably would have probably qualified in the top 10, if not the top 5 there. So I just feel that, but we didn't get qualifying in. So I just feel like we've really learned a lot of things over the past year or so. And once we get the opportunity to just get there and finish these races and make sure that we don't have any problems is what it takes for us.
We're also joined by today's third quick, driver number 16 3M Post at Ford, Greg Biffle. Greg, tell us about your lap.
It was a really good lap. It's we wish the track was a little bit cooler. The sun started to get covered up a little bit by the clouds right there when we were getting ready to go. So I probably could have arced it into 3 and 4 and got just a little bit more speed out of the car, but got a really good 1 and 2 and knew I was carrying a lot of speed. And boy, it's really tight up front, really, really close on the three of us. So just happy that we're back on track. The car was super fast in race trim. That's what I'm more happy about than qualifying up front. Qualifying up front is definitely going to help us with the pit selection and all that. So looking forward to Sunday.
We'll go back to questions. Kenny?
Kenny Bruce, SceneDaily.com. For Sam, you talked about this a little bit, but you mentioned what you guys focused on today. Is it kind of unusual because of the circumstances that you guys were so fast in qualifying last week and this week, just based on what you're trying to prepare for because of maybe weather coming in? Or is it a situation where you guys are finding what you need for the setup as far as qualifying?
We're just kind of trying to figure out, maybe what other people are doing a little bit. There's a lot of guys now that are showing up on Friday and that just work on qualifying, throughout the first full practice, and that's kind of what we were aiming to do. We've been talking about doing it for a while, and we finally felt like we were getting our race cars good enough to where we could come in here and say that we're not going to be giving up what we're going to be able to do in the race by spending this hour and a half working on our qualifying. And it just so happened that there's strong chances of rain tomorrow, so we didn't get to do that. But I just feel that the mile and a halves are really what I started really liking when I came over here and ran what we started first running well, and it's just taken us a little bit to get back to that because we went away from some things and tried doing some stuff that was kind of out there, and it didn't really work out for us. But it just a lot of it is really getting Travis and I on the same page, and him trusting in me a little bit more, knowing that when I tell him something, this is what it's going to do, and then me being able to be more consistent so that we can get those things. I feel like I've learned the tracks enough now, and I've got a pretty good idea of where I need to be and what the car needs to be like, and I'm just being able to express a little bit easier now than maybe what I would have a year ago.
Wolfgang.
I have a question to Greg. Wolfgang Munzer from Germany, Rennsport Press Agency. Greg, now with the spoiler and compared to the car with the wing before, is there much changes required to the setup, or is the car very similar? Or not much similar?
I think that the setup is fairly similar. My car seems to be a little bit freer with the wing on it, and turning a little bit better on corner exit is what I'm noticing with the wing. And I noticed that when we did the tire test. That's about the difference that I feel. I feel like the car has a little bit more yaw to it, and it'll get a little bit freer. So. That's really but the setup is not real drastically different, because the car still sees about the same amount of downforce. It just changes when the car goes into yaw, what happens. Center of pressure moves forward on the side of the car, makes it turn better. So there's just some things that the spoiler does on the back of the car that the wing didn't do, and I think it's a positive for our type of car.
Skyler Dixon with the Associated Press. Sam, Jimmy's a couple of spots behind you on the starting grid. He made a quick reference to November and on the track there earlier. Is it easy to sort of put that out of your mind and just go on and consider it part of the past?
I mean, that's all I really have to do. I basically put it out of my mind, and usually I get it either brought up by somebody telling me that Jimmy said something or somebody else in the media. But either way, it doesn't matter. It was a tough deal. Obviously, we didn't want to be involved in anything. But you go back, you look at the tape. We got hit from behind, and I don't know what else I could have done to have that deal turn out any differently. But it was we're focused on this weekend's race and how we can move forward from here.
Anything further for these gentlemen? We'll come back to Lee.
Lee Spencer for Greg. Given the success Roush Racing has had at Texas Motor Speedway, do you kind of look at this track and say, boy, if at least the three cars aren't competitive here, we really need to start reevaluating things before going forward?
Yeah, I mean, probably I was nervous about coming here, because I was so looking forward to Phoenix. Martinsville is, known one of my not so great tracks, and we finished 10th there, and survived a day, and I'm like, that's great. Now we can go to Phoenix, and I felt like every time I've been there, I've had an opportunity to win in Texas and Darlington, and we ran so bad at Phoenix that I hadn't been that bad in a long time, especially at a racetrack I really love, and so I was a little nervous coming here. How our cars were going to run. And I was extremely happy when we unloaded, or when we first went out, the car was real fast. The car was turning good. It drove like it did at the tire test. And we continued to make it better, which is, improvement. We put some shocks on it and changed the spring, and I felt like the car started driving better and gained more speed. So at that point, I was fairly relieved that we felt like we were kind of on track. And, yeah, I'm glad that we're continuing to gain on all those other teams.
Anything further? Gentlemen, congratulations. Good luck Sunday.